Take a look at the creature curled up fast asleep on your sofa or right at your feet at this very moment. Maybe it's a dog breathing rhythmically, or a cat blinking lazily, soaking in total security. It doesn't work. It doesn't pay rent. It contributes absolutely nothing to your household finances or survival. In fact, it eats through your grocery budget, demands expensive vet care, occasionally ruins your furniture, and wakes you up in the middle of the night. Yet, you find it absolutely adorable. You willingly clean up after it, and you'll weep when it's gone. If we step back and look at this through the cold lens of evolutionary biology, having this creature in your home makes zero sense. In a cutthroat natural world where every living thing fights for resources, wasting your precious energy and food on another species should be a massive survival risk, a drain on resources that could lead to the decline of your own kind. So why do we do it? Is pet ownership just a luxury of the modern world, born because we have supermarkets full of food and climate-controlled houses? Did ancient humans actually keep pets? The answer doesn't lie in modern abundance. It is far more ancient, rooted in a survival pact signed in the dark tens of thousands of years ago. To understand why humans brought wild animals into their homes, we have to understand just how fragile early humans actually were. Every other creature on this planet spent millions of years adapting perfectly to its environment. Wolves have thick fur against the cold, sharks are built perfectly for the ocean, and cheetahs have the muscle fibers to sprint at terrifying speeds. And then there's us. We get sunburned by our own star. Millions of us suffer from chronic back pain because evolution forced a horizontal spine to stand upright. Human childbirth is more agonizing and dangerous than that of almost any other mammal. And our babies are born completely helpless, unable to even lift their heads, utterly dependent for years. We were like awkward strangers on our own planet. But our deepest vulnerability wasn't physical. It was mental. No other animal on Earth realizes its own existence is temporary. Wild dogs don't lie awake, stressing about tomorrow. Lions don't have existential crises. Only us. We are the only species that walks around with a full awareness of time and the fragility of life. This awareness created a massive psychological burden, leaving humanity with a profound sense of anxiety and loneliness in a vast universe. With fragile bodies and minds full of existential dread, our ancestors faced a brutal physical world. For over 300,000 years of human history, when the sun went down, the world became pitch black. Our night vision is pathetic compared to night predators. The only thing keeping humans safe in that primordial darkness was fire. A single campfire created a circle of light about 30 feet wide. Inside that circle, humans were safe. Step just 1 foot outside that light, and you were at the mercy of the dark. It was in this terrifying world that humans did something incredibly brave and strange. They didn't just watch the wild beasts lingering at the edge of the firelight. They threw them scraps of food earned through their own sweat and blood. Did ancient humans keep pets? Yes, they did. And modern archaeology proves it. In 1978, at a 12,000-year-old site in northern Israel, archaeologists unearthed a grave of the Natufians. Inside lay the skeleton of an elderly human, curled up, with one hand resting gently on the chest of a puppy. Even further back, in Germany, scientists found a 14,000-year-old grave containing a man, a woman, and a dog. Analysis of the dog's bones revealed something incredible. The animal had been severely ill for months as a puppy. In the wild, a sick animal dies. But this dog lived to be 6 months old. That means these prehistoric humans nursed it back to health, cleaned up after it, and fed it by hand, even though it offered zero survival benefit at the time. In an era when every calorie counted, this creature wasn't viewed as a meal. It was given a proper burial. Our ancestors didn't see it as a tool. They saw it as family. Why do we have this beautiful connection? Modern science explains this through an incredible biological crossover. We often proudly claim that humans domesticated dogs. But the truth is, wild wolves domesticated themselves by syncing up with our nervous systems. Tens of thousands of years ago, a group of wolves made a genius evolutionary move. The theory of survival of the friendliest suggests that these wolves realized being gentle, less aggressive, and learning to read human expressions was a much easier way to survive than hunting in a blizzard. They traded their wildness for the warmth of the fire and shared meals. To fully step into the human circle of light, dogs evolved a physical trait their ancestors never had. Anatomists discovered that domestic dogs possess a specialized facial muscle that allows them to raise their inner eyebrows, creating that wide-eyed, innocent look we call puppy dog eyes. Wild wolves don't have this muscle. Dogs evolved it specifically to mimic the facial expressions of human infants. When a dog looks at you with those eyes, both your brain and the dog's brain flood with oxytocin. This is the exact same bonding hormone that spikes in a mother's brain when she looks at her newborn baby. Dogs hijacked our natural caregiving system. They turned us from hyper-vigilant survivalists into willing protectors. But this wasn't a one-way street. These four-legged companions gave humans a massive evolutionary edge that changed human history. Humans and dogs formed the most effective hunting and survival alliance to ever exist. Dogs brought tracking skills, speed, and endurance. Humans brought intellect, tools, and planning. Even better, at night, when humans slept and couldn't see, dogs became a living alarm system. Their ears and noses picked up threats long before they reached the fire. Prehistoric humans, always stressed by the dark, could finally sleep in peace. In return, dogs got food and shelter. It was the perfect pact. Thousands of years after teaming up with dogs, humans changed how they lived. We stopped wandering and started farming, building permanent settlements. The agricultural revolution began, and humans started hoarding grain. But these massive grain stores attracted mice and rats, threatening the food supply. Right on cue, a new friend arrived, the cat. Unlike dogs, who were domesticated through close cooperation, cats decided to join human society entirely on their own terms. They were drawn to the rodents in early farming villages about 10,000 years ago. Humans recognized their utility and left them alone. Cats never truly lost their independent streak. Their presence was a quiet, mutual agreement. I'll protect your food supply if you give me safety within your walls. The ancient Egyptians took this reverence to another level. They worshipped them, built temples to the cat-headed goddess Bastet, and even shaved off their own eyebrows in mourning when a household cat passed away. But all of this just explains the past. What about today? Now that the night is no longer terrifying, now that our cities are flooded with light, now that food is everywhere and we are safe inside sturdy homes, why are pet ownership rates at an all-time high in human history? To answer that, look back at our minds. The modern world solved our physical hardships, but it created new mental ones. Today's world isolates us from nature and puts us under the invisible pressure of thousands of judging eyes online. Our brains, designed for small tribes, are constantly overwhelmed. We are stressed by judgment, always wearing a mask to fit in. In this loud, anxious world, pets became our anchors. When you come home, close the door, and look at your dog or cat, all that social pressure evaporates. Your dog doesn't care about your bank account. Your cat doesn't judge your job title or what you're wearing. In front of your pet, you don't have to pretend. You are allowed to just be you. Caring for an animal gives us a sense of purpose. It triggers the ancient programming in our brains that demands we love, protect, and care unconditionally. The quiet purr of a sleeping cat or the chaotic joy of a dog greeting you at the door is the ultimate medicine for the lonely modern soul. Did ancient humans keep pets? Yes. They kept them before we learned to write, before we built houses, before we even had a concept of nations or civilization. In a wild, dangerous world covered in darkness, your ancestors found creatures willing to step into that tiny circle of firelight. They shared food, shared warmth, and relied on each other to survive the long night of history. So, the next time you look at your dog begging for a treat, or your cat stretching out on your desk, don't just see a cute little animal. See the remnant of the greatest, most sacred pact in natural history. A promise kept for tens of thousands of years, echoing through time. I will keep you company in this endless dark. In return, just let me stay by your fire.